All right, 7:31. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. I am Crystal, in case you guys haven't met me yet. I know there's a few people on the list that I don't think I've met in person yet, but welcome. Super excited about this. It should be a really good 4 weeks. The Facebook group, use that throughout. Any questions you have, reach out for me in there or Messenger. I am the GM and one of the coaches at our Shark Bite Fitness and Nutrition location in Cape Coral. I also do nutrition coaching, and then on the side, I'm also a firefighter. So my schedule is normally pretty hectic and crazy. So meal prepping is like essential for me to, kind of stay on track. And Katie, you want to introduce yourself? Since you're kind
Hey guys, I'm Katie. Throw me under the bus. No, that's cool. I run the nutrition program here at Shark Bite. I also coach and do a little personal training in both the Cape and Fort Myers locations. I also have a really boring day job that I'm trying not to have anymore. So if you guys ever have a hard time getting Crystal, you can always reach out to me.
What do you do, Katie?
I work at a desk. Any more than that would bore you. I work at a desk. Yep.
Bless you all that have to sit at a desk. Can't do it. All right. So hopefully this week we're going to kind of dive into like prepping to prep. And then next week you can dive into some of those recipes that you see. But we'll go ahead and get started. Mainly, for me, and I know a lot of people, like confidence comes from being prepared for the week, right? So if I'm prepared going into the week, like I know what I'm taking. I'm on shift tomorrow. So I've got like my lunch prepared, my breakfast, we cook dinner together on shift, but I've got my snacks all ready to go and planned out for the day. I also live with my boyfriend, so he's got his lunches. Normally Sundays, if I'm home, is kind of like our meal prep day. But whatever day kind of works for you. Sorry, I got all my notes here. But meal prepping in general is like the act of like planning, preparing, and packaging like your meals for the week. Snacks in advance, I think that's huge. I'm a big snacker. I don't just eat my 3 meals a day. I have my snacks in between. And so if I've got all that prepared, it's pretty easy to stay on track. I know if I don't have it prepared, I catch myself going in the pantry, snacking on things that I probably shouldn't be. We do have kids in the house too, so that's not always like healthier choices, but we try to have healthy snacks for them. But sometimes I'm like, goldfish, I'm gonna eat those instead. But so we want to eat with the intention of being healthy, right? And if we can meal prep that out and have everything portioned out, ready to go, kind of helps you stay in your budget, which is normally huge for a lot of people, and also reach your health and fitness goals. The ultimate goal with this course is to help you save time in the kitchen and have access to like healthy meals during the week. And, during this course, you can hopefully figure out like which meal prep style is right for you. It's not a one size fits all for meal prepping, and we'll go over to different styles here in a little bit. But again, whatever works for you and your lifestyle, save you time in the kitchen so you can spend time doing what you love or with your family. Any questions so far? I know I can't see everyone, but good. Okay. Normally these meetings on Sunday nights, they'll probably be, 30, 45 minutes, maybe that hour. I know, respect everyone's time. And then if you're trying to catch up during the week, if you don't make it on Sunday nights, you're not having to sit here for hours, watching it, but hopefully everything is nice and informative. And like I said, ask questions as we go. In the pamphlet, there's one paragraph that kind of really sticks out to me. It's like, make feeding yourself and your family easier by giving you a head start on the week and helping you feel more in control of what you're eating and how you're spending your time, right? Again, like I already mentioned, time in the kitchen, is time spent that you can be doing something else. I happen to love being in the kitchen, so that's kind of like my therapy. So I have a really fancy food processor, but I love to chop stuff up. So I barely ever use my food processor. But I feel like most people don't enjoy that meal prep process. So hopefully, no matter what, you get some tips and tricks out of this to be successful. So the different types of meal prepping. Number one, you can make ahead meals, right? For those with little time to cook, like throughout the week, you can cook your complete meal in advance and just reheat it at mealtime, right? So you can do that with either for your lunch or super fast weeknight meal. Batch cooking is normally one that I tend to gravitate towards, where you can prepare multiple batches of recipes to portion out, and you can freeze them for meals in the weeks to come. For example, like if you make a big batch of chili, right? During the week, it's just EJ and I. We're not going to eat chili nonstop every single day, but you can freeze it and then pull it out, thaw it out a month from now. If you have a vacuum sealer, that's where that comes in really good hand, because it's going to help seal it and keep it from getting freezer burnt and stuff like that. So those are handy, not necessary. I don't have one, maybe one day, but I have to get a bigger kitchen. I'm out of space for all my kitchen gadgets right now. Portion meals, those with like specific health goals. You're looking for convenience for grab and go meals for either lunch or dinner, and you just make it all on your meal prep day. Portion it all out into your individual containers, and then it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about, Monday morning trying to build your lunch and get it all put together. You've got it all portioned out, ready to go for the week. And all the recipes that you will see in the guide are easily done that way, or even like for the batch cooking. And there's like different tips with each recipe that you can do for those. Or ready to cook. I also do this one quite a bit. If you prefer to cook your meals like right before you eat it, like weeknight dinners, you can, like on Sundays, chop your onions, like your peppers, your garlic, any of your like fresh ingredients that you need to like prepare. And then that helps cut down on kitchen time once you get home from work or from the gym. I know a lot of us kind of get home late. You don't want to worry about cooking dinner, stopping at the grocery store, and definitely trying to avoid that like fast food, right? Stopping and getting something unhealthy on the way home so you can just eat, shower, go to bed. So if you kind of have everything prepped and you like to throw something on the grill or anything like that, kind of helps make for a fresh meal, like under 30 to 45 minutes. Everybody good?
Can't just swing by mom's house.
What, Christian?
I'm used to just getting free food all the time. So.
Oh yeah, you just moved out on your own. You need this for sure. So for the 4 weeks meal prep success, like I said, 6 recipe options you'll see per week. So the next 3 weeks, you'll see 6 recipes, 3 for breakfast and 3 for like you can do for lunch or dinner. And then some healthy snacks and 20-minute meal ideas you'll find like sprinkled throughout there. Like I said, use this Facebook group as posting questions, recipes. I love new recipes, so use that. Use each other as resources. Anybody that has any good ideas, throw them in here. Katie and I haven't really talked about this. I plan on leaving the group up afterwards. You feel free to leave, but I kind of like the idea of kind of having this as a resource, at least for quite a while afterwards. If people kind of die out, we're not really using it, but I think it'll be a great resource for everyone. And then so today we'll go over prepping your kitchen, and then next week will be like meal prep mistakes. 3rd week, truth about diets, and then that 4th week will be lifestyles changes that will actually last and stick and hopefully be a healthier version of ourselves. In that meal prep guide, you have a weekly checklist. Feel free to use it, modify it however you want to. But for like this week, prepping your kitchen, you're all here. So you got in the Facebook group, you found the Zoom link, you got your email. So we're good there. Either you're here or watch that video. And then want everyone to clean out their pantry, their fridge, and their cupboards. This should be maybe an eye opener for a lot of you. I know when I did this, and I just moved a year ago and I checked spices, but yet I still found a bunch of outdated spices and stuff that had been in my cupboard, and I even moved them. So maybe we'll go for who has the oldest spice in their cupboard and take a picture of it, and then you can throw those away. You know, they're spices aren't cheap, but yet go get you some fresh ones, and maybe that spice you don't really need. Any of the meal prep kitchen items for success that you saw in there, those are all like clickable links. One thing that's in there are these silicone muffin tins. So I make a lot of like turkey meatballs, mini muffins, egg muffins. These will save your life in your muffin pans. They're silicone, don't have to spray them, super easy to wash. I love this. So check out that list. You know, it's got that, some meal prep containers, different things. It goes into like not necessarily needed things, but like your air fryer, your Instant Pot, the vacuum sealer, all that stuff is there. So if you're even like, I don't know what you're talking about when you're talking about a vacuum sealer, go and check it out. Go ahead and click on that link. So we'll take, lost my spot. Yep, clean out your fridge, your pantry, your cabinets. Make sure you, the freezer, something that's been in there for a year or so, it's probably time to toss it. And then that way you're just starting out fresh for the next month. And then look ahead for next week at the recipes that you want to make, and use the grocery list that's there. You'll see it's like color coordinated recipe and grocery list. So you can kind of check off the items that you want or need, right? I wouldn't try to make all 6 recipes because that will be overwhelming. But if there's a couple of them that you want to do, the grocery list is like color coordinated to that. So that'll be super helpful. And then go shop for your groceries at the end of this coming week for next weekend. Or if you're going to meal prep midweek, I know for me, my schedule is completely different than most people. I don't have that Monday through Friday, but you know, pick a day that you're going to get your groceries. And then I suggest not meal prepping that day, because I know I run out of time. I get super overwhelmed when I have to figure out what I'm cooking, make my grocery list, go grocery shopping, and then come home, unload it all, and then start cooking. That is not a fun meal prep day. So get your groceries on Friday or Saturday, meal prep on Sunday, or whatever days you want to pick. But I definitely suggest not doing it all in one day. Not fun. Doable, but not fun. Any questions so far on that?
So you cook everything in one day for the whole week?
I normally kind of prep my breakfast and lunches for the week on one day. Or you can do kind of like that batch cooking, or like kind of like dice up anything that you need to, and then that way you just kind of have to throw it all together like when you're ready to cook it. And then next week we'll kind of go into like meal prepping mistakes, which is kind of definitely, that's one of them, getting your groceries and everything all in the same time. Okay. Yeah, the kitchen tools, I kind of already mentioned, the silicone muffin pans, measuring cups and spoons. I know, say, Christian, I know you just moved in, single guy. If you don't have measuring spoons and cups, you're going to need those. Cutting boards, and, you know, make sure you have a couple sharp knives, some scissors, vegetable peeler is definitely handy, whisk, spatula, mixing spoons. And then a couple large like jelly sheets, baking sheets. And I always throw foil on mine, so they're way easier to wash at the end. Because that's the worst part. I hate doing the dishes. I love to cook and make a mess, but dishes are not fun. So hopefully everything, you know, you make it easy enough, you kind of learn, and clean up is a little bit easier for you. So kind of already talked about cleaning out that fridge, right? Go through like shelf by shelf, and while you like pull everything off a shelf, wipe it down, because not something that we normally do, right? We're like, just keep pulling things, putting things in, pulling it out. Take the time one night this week or morning and pull everything out, wipe it down, check dates, kind of reorganize, taller things in the back, shorter things up front, so you can kind of see and things don't get lost in there. Wipe down the shelves and the drawers, the condiment drawers. I love condiments and dipping, so I have way too many. I know that. And it's like I see something, so I'm like, oh, I want that. And then, but just kind of be mindful of those things. Check the labels. If it's high in sugar, canola oils, different ingredients, maybe it's time to chuck that. Decide if you're still going to use it. If not, go ahead and toss it. Make sure your fresh fruits and veggies are easily accessible. A lot of times they get thrown in like the veggie drawer down at the bottom, and then you forget that they're down there. So make sure you've got those easy to grab. Your meats, should be in an easy to reach place as well, but those should also be placed at the bottom, right? If the package of chicken or beef or whatever you got in there starts to leak, you don't want it to leak all over the top of your fresh veggies. So make sure your veggies and produce are on top of your meat. Normally the bottom drawer is good for that. And then your pantries, right? Same method as you do with your refrigerator, go ahead and do that with your food pantry. Christian, for you, this is probably going to be an easier process because you're starting out with an empty fridge and pantry, but it won't take long to add up, right? If you need to get a few bins for your snacks, spices, different baking items that you use. Like I said, I moved into a much smaller home a year ago, and my kitchen is super small, so I'm trying to be creative and keeping everything organized. And in a week later, cooked and use a bunch of stuff, and then it's like kind of reorganize it again, so things don't get lost in there. Again, anything that is expired, go ahead and toss it. And double check your cabinets, all those Tupperwares, right? It's kind of like the missing sock in the dryer. Those Tupperware lids, if you have mixed match stuff or cracked lids or something and you don't have pairs, go ahead and clean that out, recycle it, and then make sure you've got like a muffin tin and your baking sheets, aluminum foil, and other cooking essentials there ready to go. For your pantry, there's a list of staples in there. It breaks it down like oils and vinegars. So like your extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil is good. Your red wine, cider vinegar, white vinegar. It has sriracha on there. That's a staple that has to be in my house because EJ puts it on everything. Some soy sauce or coconut aminos, and cooking spray is a great thing. I use that whether I'm grilling or some sheet pans, extra, a little easier clean up. Your baking items that you want to keep on hand, honey and agave are good sweetener substitutes, maple syrup, and then I use a lot of vanilla protein powder for recipes, smoothies, shakes, and then the overnight oats that's in the meal prep guide. I know Chris and Lori, they see me eating those all the time, and so I went ahead and gave them the recipe for that probably a month or so ago, and Chris has been eating that at the gym every day. So that protein powder is good to have on hand for items like that. Your grains, rice, quinoa, some rolled oats, basic seasonings. I know we all have different tastes and styles of cooking, but to make sure you've got your basics on hand, your produce, and then canned bottle goods, your marinaras, canned or tomatoes or tomato paste, chicken or veggie broth, or like even the bouillon cubes. I tend to use the paste because they're in a little jar and I can put it in the fridge instead of like big jugs of chicken broth. And then some beans and like canned tuna. But just make sure you kind of have a good stock and like save that list for future reference. Now we're going to go into the macros, okay? With nutrition and coaching, you'll hear a lot of us talk about your macros, which is your macronutrients. They're what make up your calories that you eat. And all three macros are essential. We're not afraid to eat any of them, especially, a lot of people are like, oh, carbs are bad. We need carbs, fat, and protein, those three macronutrients, really ideally in every meal and every snack that you have, right? So carbohydrates, they're your body's preferred source of fuel and energy. They help fuel your workouts and support recovery, right? I normally have a banana. I work out at 5 a.m. I'm one of those crazy people. So I don't want to get up early and eat a big meal, but I'll eat a banana on my way to the gym and then I'm good to go. Also with the carbohydrates, you're going to find that that's where you're going to get a lot of your fiber. That helps aid in your digestion. And carbs are also good for your brain and organ function, okay? And then it's really the only one that isn't necessarily like essential for survival if you have enough adequate fat and protein in your diet. But again, we at SharkBite definitely recommend that you get all three in every day. Protein, it helps us build lean muscle and maintain that muscle. It also helps us stay like full and satisfied after you get done eating it. And it kind of helps light your metabolic system on fire, and it requires the most energy to digest. That kind of gets your metabolism going. And then what we find is a lot of people don't eat enough protein in their diet. I know when I first started kind of keeping track of my macros, I was like, oh, wow, I'm not eating nearly enough as what I needed to. And then with our fat, it helps us stay full and satisfied for hours after we get done eating it. It's definitely crucial for your hormone function, healthy menstrual cycles for ladies, and then also in vitamin absorption. And then it also makes food taste good, right? I love peanut butter on almost everything. Now I'm gonna see if I can share my screen. Katie went over this with me earlier. Start share, here we go. I'm gonna switch to, so you guys can all see. Hopefully I'm in the right thing. All right, good, everyone see that?
Yep.
Yay. Thumbs up from Katie, okay. This is also in your guide, right? Which foods? So breaking down those macronutrients, right? So all nutritional value varies, but we don't want to think of it as like good or bad, right? We put a label on something, it's bad, but yet we like it, and then we tend to probably eat it more because it's like that forbidden fruit. And it normally is the stuff that like is that special treat or it tastes good, right? But we don't want to like demonize any of our food groups. So for your protein, carbs, and fats, and this is for obviously like non-vegans or vegetarians, right? We'll get to plant-based and vegan options as well. But for your protein, you should eat more of your eggs, egg whites, fish, shellfish, chicken, turkey. Lean beef is okay. Ground buffalo tastes amazing, and it's way lower in fat content than regular beef. Lamb, pork, wild game, plain Greek yogurt, some cultured cottage cheese, tempeh, and insects if you're into that. Also lentils and beans they put on here, but obviously we want to prioritize fresh and lean meats over anything frozen. It also recommends limiting your red meat to 18 ounces per week, or like if you don't like necessarily weigh, like four palm sizes of red meat per week. For your carbs, your beans, your rolled oats, steel cut oats, buckwheat, quinoa, that's also high in protein. Potatoes, go for sweet potatoes over white potatoes. Your plain Greek yogurt again, fresh fruits and veggies, corn, barley. Yuca is amazing. I know Nick loves that. Put some chimichurri on there and it's delicious. And then your fats, right? Extra virgin olive oil, walnut oil, avocado oil, cheese that's aged more than 6 months, your egg yolks, seeds, chia, flax, hemp, pumpkin, and then a lot more nuts in there, pecans, almonds, nut butters, and then unprocessed coconut. All right. And then things that we want to kind of mix in once in a while, eat some of it. If you kind of eat more off of the top list, you sprinkle some of this stuff in once in a while, it makes your taste buds happy. Your medium lean meats, tofu, edamame, Canadian bacon, jerky, like your chicken sausages, protein powders, that's a great substitute, but you don't want to be stuck on that. Relying solely on that for your protein sources every day. Carbs, your white rice, your granola, that tends to add up in fat and sugar before you realize it. Even some pancakes and waffles once in a while. And then fats, your virgin oils, sesame oil, flaxseed oil, dark chocolate, cheese that's aged less than 6 months, and then flavored nuts and nut butters. And then we go down to some of the ones that we want to eat a lot less of. Your fried chicken, your fried meat. One of my favorite meals as a kid growing up was fried chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy and sweet corn, because I grew up in Iowa and that was my favorite meal. But fried food is definitely high in fat. I'm gonna go with the chicken fingers, nuggets, and wings. Definitely try to stay away from. I don't know how chicken wings are so high in fat, but normally they're deep fried, so that's what happens. Your burger is normally high in fat, sausages, processed deli meats, and then watch out for those fish that are high in mercury. Your carbs, cereal bars add up real quick. Fruit juices, yes, it's from fruit, but it's definitely high in that sugar. Flavored milk, anything with 10 plus grams of sugar in it, you should definitely try to limit that. Morgan, it doesn't say Oreo cookies, but it's got cookies on here. And cake. I know you're just signed up for the cake recipe. And then your fats, your breakfast sausages and bacon, butter, margarine, anything processed, things there that we want to try and avoid. Any questions?
We did have a question just a little while ago about oils. Sarah had asked, what is the difference between avocado and olive oil?
Do you know that one, Katie?
Yeah, well, so avocado you can use to cook at higher temperatures, but like the nutritional value is basically the same. Interestingly enough, these charts showed olive oil being on the have sometimes and the avocado on have all the time. So that's interesting. Avocado oil is for sure in the same section as olive oil. It's probably just on the highest shelf. So it won't be at eye level.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it so far.
Okay. A good way, if you don't track your food or don't really know where to start, this page here kind of shows you like how to like master your meal prep and like build a healthy plate or what a healthy meal should look like. It's a little bit different than the one that we normally use, but if you think about a quarter of your plate being your protein, a quarter of it being your carbs, and the other half of it being your veggies, you're definitely on the right path to having a good healthy meal, right? You're gonna have a little bit of butter or oil or something in there for your fats. But especially if you go out to eat, obviously you're not necessarily gonna like be able to visualize what the plate looks like before it comes out. But if it's got meat, a potato, and a veggie, or you can even ask for extra veggies and skip the starch. stuff like that. And then here we are for our plant-based eaters. And this is definitely Katie's more expertise than mine, but please ask questions if you've got them. Protein sources that you should eat more of, like the tempeh, the tofu, edamame, lentils and beans, split peas, black-eyed peas. You've got, for it says vegetarian, your egg and your egg whites, your cultured cottage cheese, and your plain Greek yogurt. Obviously, I know if you're vegan, you're staying away from those. And if you go the pescatarian route, your fish and shellfish, spit it out. So there's definitely different types of plant-based, right? You got your vegans, your vegetarians. I have no idea what a flexitarian is. Should have probably looked at that before I put that in there. And then your pescatarians who eat fish. Something that you would eat some of occasionally, like your TVP, textured vegetable protein, the tempeh bacon, keep an eye on the soy yogurt, black bean burgers, like a traditional veggie burger. Sometimes those are packed with a lot more ingredients than you realize that are in there. Your protein powders, I know we use Driven Nutrition, and they've got a vegan powder for you. And then things to kind of like watch out for and eat less of are those protein bars. Again, normally packed with more stuff than you think you realize that you're eating. And then the fish that's high in mercury. And again, that plate that based, drink your water, your tea. You can use your fruit for dessert. You got your veggies for half of your plate. Again, quarter protein, and then it has your starch and your fats broken up on that. Any questions on plant-based eating? No, good. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. There we go.
Perfect.
I did it. All right, so how this is going to work, choose the meals and make your list like I mentioned before. Again, try and only pick like 1 to 2 recipes, especially if it's something new that you're making and you're picking off of this list. You're not going for this list and you kind of have a game plan. Again, trying to make a lunch, 5 different lunches every day is a little overwhelming. But again, that's like each week you've got different recipes, because eating the same thing every week gets boring. I love the quinoa turkey meatballs. Anyone at the gym knows that. I think it's our featured recipe for the month. I think there's a video out there of me actually making them. I'll put in here. I could eat those almost every single day. EJ, not so much, and he's tired of turkey meatballs. So we've come up with different options for lunches. But again, eating the same thing, you do get burnout on it and it does get boring. So try to switch it up, and that will help you keep on track a little bit better also. Because you just be like, I don't want to eat that anymore. I'm not going to make it. And then you kind of like derail from there. Get your grocery shopping in. Use that guide if you need to. And again, when you go grocery shopping, like put your produce all on the same section of your grocery list, your dairy products. And again, try to shop around the outside of the grocery store, because that's where all your freshest products are going to be found. And then, get what you need down the aisles. But those are typically where we want to try to avoid, unless you're getting like your spices, your oils, stuff like that. For your breakfast recipes, I normally try to get those like done on my meal prep day. I think I'm skipping ahead to like week 3, but the overnight oats are super easy to make. And they last in the refrigerator for like up to a week. So super easy to do. We do eat that for breakfast every day. And then prep those dinner components that you've got. And then if you're going to do it all in one day and then reheat it throughout the week, if that works for you. I think this first week it's using shredded chicken. So you'll find that the meals are going to be like based off of like week 1 is shredded chicken or like a rotisserie chicken. So you can get it pre-cooked, or you can roast off your own chicken. And then you can use it, shred it, use it quartered for a couple of those different recipes. And then it's ready to go. And then the following week, I think we've got like some ground meat. But when you get to those recipes, especially for plant-based, there's options in there and different meat ideas as well. So if you don't want to do shredded chicken, want to substitute it and go plant-based, there's options there. So hopefully there's something for everyone in there. And then go ahead and make those recipes starting, next weekend, hopefully Sunday night when we meet together. By then, everyone has at least made a couple of things, and we can share tips and tricks, things that went well, things that didn't go so well. And then also in your meal prep guide, there's, again, like I just kind of mentioned, like different protein swaps, dairy-free swaps ideas, gluten-free, low carb. You can switch cauliflower rice out for in place of like your white or brown rice, and different stuff like that in there. So make sure you read up that. Eat the rainbow, more colored veggies and fruits in there. I know Nick loves what is it, Christy? Yellow colored food, orange colored food. I'll randomly post pictures of like, hey, I'm eating my orange food today. And then, pick those recipes, make that grocery list. What's he say? Orange Food Tuesday. There we go.
So we do have a question here, Crystal.
Okay.
Aaron is asking if we can show the types and maybe give some examples of Tupperware, or what's best to start the freezing and batching process.
I use Ziploc bags that you can find that say for the freezer, right? Not just like your normal sandwich bags, but the quart or gallon size that are graded for the freezer. Sometimes like my meats, my chicken breast, I'll wrap in plastic wrap and then put them inside of those freezer bags just to kind of protect them in there. I like to buy my meat in bulk. Being that Iowa girl that I am, Sarah knows we had freezers full of meat. Down here, don't really have that like grocery store or that butcher readily available, or butchering hogs and cows on the farm. So I'll go to Sam's Club or Costco, buy my bulk like ground turkey, chicken breast, and then repackage it. If you have a food saver for the freezer, I know those work really, really well. I would definitely recommend that if you freeze a lot of it. In that list, I think there's some 8-ounce containers that are one of the links that you can click on. I'll take you to, I think, Costco for. Those are some good ones. Anybody else have good freezer ideas?
I also use the freezer bags. As long as they're freezer graded, they last really well. I also like to use glass, right? Because like sometimes Tupperware will like soak in the color of like what you've cooked. If you've ever put pasta in a Tupperware, so I'll use like Pyrex bowls. You can get them in all different sizes, or even I like to bulk prep. So sometimes I have like different little random things left over. So I have these containers I got on Amazon, and they're glass with 3 compartments. And I'll use these to just save things that I'm not going to get to before they go bad. And I'll stick this in the freezer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. Like for my overnight oats and stuff, I use like the little 8-ounce mason jars for that. I don't have a ton of Tupperware right now because I did move and my space is limited. Any other questions? I know Layla said glass, so that popped up. I think I saw.
Yeah.
All right. How do we do on time? 8:10. Not bad. I feel like I talked a lot.
Something earlier. You said something earlier that I kind of missed. Like earlier when you were talking about like when dicing the veggies and stuff on Sunday, you said something that I missed, but it sounded like it was important, but I didn't get it. So
like if I know I'm going to make fajitas on, Taco Tuesday or whatever, I might, while I'm doing my different meal prep, like prepping my lunches or my breakfast for the week, go ahead and dice up like my peppers and onions. If I'm gonna make the fajita, throw them in a Ziploc bag or Tupperware, put them in the fridge. So that way Tuesday night, when I'm going to cook dinner, I just gotta cut up the meat, saute that, throw in the veggies. It's, you know, that step is already done, and it makes, you know, cooking that meal when you get home from work, from the gym, wherever, a whole lot easier than having to like prep everything at once. Not sure if that's what I said that you were looking for, but
Brings me back a little, so.
yes, Chris.
Pre-cutting your veggies definitely will help you want to eat them more instead of having to like go through that process at the time that you're hungry.
So cutting like peppers and stuff.
Yeah, normally peppers, onions. If I'm gonna make like for tomorrow for work, I'm taking a salad, so I cut up a bunch of cucumbers, carrots, onion. That way I don't keep them all stored together, but in the morning I'll throw everything together with my lettuce. Actually, for tomorrow I have like my lettuce in one container, my veggies in another, with some meat and that, and then when I get to work I just throw it together so it doesn't get soggy or anything like that. Any other questions? Hi, Kev. All right, pay attention to that Facebook group this week. This video will be posted in there, so if you need to reference it back, you can go back through it. We'll have a weekly challenge, so make sure you take those pictures of your refrigerator before and after, and of your pantry before and after. And then we'll have a winner at each week, but I'll announce that in the group as well. And some different information coming out throughout the week. Very good.
All right.
All right. Happy
Great
prepping.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.
Bye,
Thank
Kev.
you.
Bye.
All right.